Hello there. Sorry I didn't pick up your call this morning. I slept in late and had a terrible nightmare. That aside, I'm assuming you saw one of the mascots move last night, and the possibility of other absurdities to the human cognition, no? Most people would think you're crazy for even mentioning it, but it's a good thing I'm not most people. Before you turned up, the shifts got pretty outlandish for me at times. Lights would flicker, the animatronics would stare at the cameras and move around a lot. But there was always this one recurring factor every single night. Sometimes, around midnight, I would see what would look like an eye staring at me from the window in your office that overlooks the alley. I'll tell you what, if you see something in the alley and it really irks you, or you feel like it's a threat, which it most certainly would be, given the nature of your job, just shine your light on the window in your office. There is a vent out there that leads into the building that some rats and vermin tend to climb through, so maybe give them a taste of your flashlight, or whatever else may lurk out there. By the way, I wanted to address that stalking fiend that's been lurking around these parts. That thing, whatever it is, it's quite interesting in my opinion. I've taken the time to look into it myself, and from what I can gather, I don't think it's human. The images make it out to be a lot taller, yet it looks kind of familiar to me. But who knows? Perhaps it might show up during one of your shifts. Though I'm guessing due to how unpopulated the area is, that's probably unlikely since it tends to go after people late at night. You know what, never mind, don't listen to me. Now, I don't know if things will get better or worse for you, assuming something had happened last night, but just remember to use your door and check around your office occasionally for any oddities. I'll leave you be now. Good night. welcome to the end of the first week, assuming that you stick on for the next one. I'm assuming last night went well, considering you're still standing and you're listening to me right now. Have you made up your mind about quitting? Truth be told, while Henry and I will understand, I don't think you should speak a word about the roaming animatronics to anyone. Believe me, I tried to tell my wife about it, and she didn't believe me, until I sustained that injury I mentioned before. That's why I took on the day shift, remember? However, plans are going ahead for my own personal investigation next week, so if you plan on staying for the foreseeable future, I could very well use your expertise in all of this, and we could look into this further. Henry's expressed interest and believes that this could benefit our little insight into what this poltergeist in the building is doing, as well as the mysteries of the stalking fiend, which, it turns out, could potentially be one of our very own mascot animatronics that got scrapped a long time ago. If my hunch is correct, then it's no longer a coincidence. However, I apologize for not telling you about these little hypotheses or potentially giving you reasons to stick around longer than you should. But that's just me thinking out loud. Anyway, I'll leave you alone for tonight.